Hi, Attorney Joe Giamanco with Giamanco Law Partners, a Bolingbrook, Illinois and a New Lenox, Illinois-based law firm. Welcome back to our vlog series. This, I believe, is vlog number 4 of the series of our remodel of 107 West Boughton in Bolingbrook, Illinois, what will become our new office building in, hopefully, fingers crossed, a little less than 2 months. We're shooting for August 1st. It is a tight deadline. It is an ambitious deadline, frankly, and I'm sure my general contractor wants to murder me for having set that deadline. But I think it's doable, and our lease technically expires in our current building as of July 1st anyway, so we're gonna hold over for a month. But we think we can be in by that date, and things are moving along. I'm starting off today on what will be the tenant side of the building because we've had one major construction piece that has been completed that is very interesting and very exciting. I can see it right now as I'm looking to the other side of the building, and I'll show it to you in just a moment. But I wanted to kind of contrast the differences with just one small change, which is technically a big change, but you'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. So this is the side that the tenants are going to be on. I believe it measures about 3,600 square feet. We currently actually have a tenant that is renting just a small section right over here. This once upon a time was a video store, and that was the porn section. It's the only part of this property that actually has walls, and it's kind of walled off, so it gives them their own separate space. We have another tenant who likely will be moving in right behind me for the summer, just for a short period of time. We are looking for a tenant to take the entire space in the long term, but a couple folks need some space for short periods of time. We're more than happy to have our expenses subsidized, so it works out just fine. In any case, a few updates, and we'll go through some of these things in just a moment, but the first is that we finally officially have the permit in the window. I actually misspoke in my last video. I thought we had the permit and it was being sent to us. Little did I know that there was some red tape that was holding up the process, namely some of the contractors needed to get in various certifications, licenses, what have you. These are all top-notch contractors we have working on this project, but the Village of Bolingbrook, much like a lot of cities, they want their piece of the pie. They want some money in order to allow people to do business in town, get licenses and so forth, and they have some justification for that. But the bottom line is that they want to collect fees in order to allow people to do construction, despite the fact that the property owner is paying a fee on top of everything just to the village to get the permit. Long story short, we were almost done with permitting, and there were a couple things that some contractors needed to complete. Those have been completed. It is a bit frustrating going through the permitting process because of communication at times. My general contractor was the one doing the vast majority, and he did a pretty good job with it, so I don't fault him for anything. And the Village of Bolingbrook, the employees of Bolingbrook, every time I asked a question, it was answered very quickly of the employees. So I give them complete credit for doing their jobs. Not the politicians, the actual people who do the jobs 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, every single day. They did a great job in terms of following up with me, which I really, really appreciated, because when there was a disconnect between my contractor and the village, if I reached out, I got an answer right away. So great job to those employees. You did fantastic. And here we are. So things are moving along. And from where we were last time, the last video in the series, you may not be able to see a lot of changes, but there's one huge one, which I will show you right now. All right, to give you a point of reference, this is the general area where I was standing just a minute ago on the rental side of the building. And now I'm going to turn around, and you're going to see, when I spin 180 degrees, the difference in light. We don't have any lights on right now. There's no lights on in the building. What we do have is some skylights that have been added. So here, I'm going to walk around here. The framing, I think most of the framing is up, if not all of it. Even the doorways have been put in here, these guys. We have some, I should say, we do actually have some additional framing. There's framing that will go down here that will define the hallway, which I would be standing in right now, that goes to the 2 bathrooms. and there will be a hole put in the wall right there. We'll have to take our time-lapse camera down here shortly. So there's a little bit more framing to go. So my correction on that. But as we go through here, and we come over to this side, we have 0 lights on right now. Not a single one. And I'm telling you right now, I could easily work in my office without having a single light on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is thanks to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new skylights we've had put in. That's right, skylights. I know a lot of people are fearful of skylights because of the potential of them causing leaks, but these skylights were put in by the same company that did our roofing. And more good news, the roofing's been completed. We hired a roofing contractor, happens to be my brother-in-law's company, Olson Roofing, and they came out and did a spectacular job in an extremely short period of time. I think they got the whole thing done in a day, which is just fantastic. So the skylights are in. It makes a massive difference in terms of the light in this building. We will have plenty of lighting, which is just great, natural light. Now, of course, on a cloudy day or what have you, the lights that we'll have inside here will be helpful as well, but we could literally have no lights on right now and be perfectly fine. So I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, here I am at the front entrance. Their new vestibule doors will go here. I'm not sure of the schedule of those, but I'm sure they're not going to want to put them in until we're further along with the construction so they can move equipment in and out easily. One of the questions I will have for the masses, we'll be deciding on shortly, are colors, specifically colors of the ceiling and ventilation. Green was the color of one of the colors of the former owner of the building for their business. And while we have a little bit of green in our logo, we're not planning on having a ton of green inside here. So the question is what color should we have the ventilation? What color should we have the ceiling? Because again, the ceiling, the pipes, all that stuff up there, it's gonna continue to be exposed. We wanna have a light industrial look. So that gigantic steel beam, that will be exposed as well. I think I showed you in the last video what will become our conference room. That's this room here. The big open area between right around there and the floor will be a glass wall and glass doors. That's why it's open right now. So even inside the conference room, we will have, exposed ceiling. So the question, and feel free to make a comment in the comments section, what colors do you think we should use? I'd love to know any feedback that you've got. As I'm walking through here, I just happened to notice also that looks like our plumber managed to come in and get some of the pipes done. Those copper pipes are going to be feeding some new lines. The ones that go over here will come down to a janitor's closet. That'll be right around there. Maybe right around here. That's probably where it's going to be. And then I believe some of the pipes also will come down. It looks like there's a vent pipe that they put in. So that will go right probably down the middle. It divides the 2 bathrooms. I think that's men's side and that's women's side. So pretty exciting stuff. Those lines, again, they'll be exposed. And that's the way that we want it. I know some people don't like that, but we do like it, so. All right, and right here, what you see is a sprinkler head. We have had the sprinklers completely redone. Not all new sprinklers, but a huge portion of the sprinkler system has been replaced. So there is a sprinkler head, I believe, that has been put in every single room, some a couple. So here's another one over here. Our plumber got that done. That was no small job. The ceiling, the sprinkler system in the ceiling, it literally had visible holes in parts of it. So they clearly have gotten that patched up. In fact, I come over here, I can tell you, and you can see more of them, the black ones that come out there. So there's another one over there. And there's one here. So they're going to be in every office, of course, and whatever the code requires. And previously, right up in this section, there was a gigantic section of pipe that's now been replaced with this elbow system, I believe. That elbow right there had a huge hole in it. Huge hole. I mean, it was clear to the average layman that the pipes were not going to work. They had a leak in the building before. So they replaced the sprinklers not just on our side, but they replaced them on the rental side as well. In fact, you can see down here some of the joints there. Right. You can do this with my hand. Right there. And another one right over there. So, new sprinklers. Not very exciting, but very necessary. And I should also say, working sprinklers, really important. I know better than most people because unfortunately in the January of 2020 and in the January of 2018, we had a sprinkler pipe burst in our current building, which required a complete floor remodel, new flooring, painting of some walls, tearing out of some drywall. Sprinklers are life-saving, but when they go off, it's just painful what you have to go through, because it's not just a matter of taking out the flooring, you also have to dry out the building. So having a sprinkler system that we know will work, that we know has been just upgraded, that gives us some peace of mind. Now, we didn't go with an all-new system. We could have done that. It was going to cost about another $15,000 on top of what we were already spending. But the reality is a lot of these sections of straight pipe are perfectly fine. Some of the parts where they're coupled together and some of the parts that were leaking obviously need to be replaced. But I didn't see a need to replace the entire system when it just didn't need it. So we made use of what we have. Much like this building. I mean, this building, it was left abandoned for 8 years, essentially. There was almost nothing, at least that I could tell, that was done in it to keep it in a good condition. The roof leaking and so forth, I don't believe they even tried to patch it. But it had good bones, so we make good use of those bones, upgrade things where we need to, save money where you can. So that's what we've done. And so the sprinkler system is in, it's good. Some of the electrical has started to be run in terms of the conduit pipes. I don't think there's any actual wire running through these yet. And some of the fire stuff I believe has been worked on too, the fire alarm system and so forth. And I'm sure there's a million other things that I don't recognize as a lawyer opposed to somebody who's in construction. But what you can see, especially these skylights, I mean, I love these, you know, and maybe I'm blowing it up too much, but the fact that I can turn around and see that this area is well lit and we have 0 lights on, I get pretty excited about that. So that was one of the big things that we decided to add in. The construction project is coming along. It did just occur to me that there was one other thing in terms of lighting that is kind of thrown off right now. Well, 2 things really. Once the drywall goes up, the exterior light from the windows that we have will obviously drop. While there are these side lights, these windows on the sides of each door, and they will let some light in, it won't be nearly as much as we're seeing right now. So those offices will all be well lit, but some of that light won't be coming into the central area. However, a lot of the windows in front, especially in our reception area where I'm standing right now, those are actually covered right now by brown paper, so they're pulling down the amount of light that's coming in. So we'll have some better light in here right where I'm standing, just from natural light. And then again, plus the LED lights that will be hung from the ceiling. So one other element that I'd be happy to take feedback on is for where I'm standing right now. And perhaps I should back up and spin around and you'll get a better sense as to what I'm talking about. Originally, our architect had planned that through this area, right here, I did that badly, maybe this way, yeah, right there, there would be a 6-foot tall planter wall. And we like that in part because it gives some privacy from where the conference room will be here, and there'll be doors, sliding glass doors over here in the conference room right there, to divide those from what will be our work area over here for our support staff. But in thinking it over more, I realized that they were going to be essentially, well, not essentially, they were going to be fastened to the floor, much as these walls are all put in where they're attached, they don't move. And that caused us a little bit of concern because we've got this great open space. I'm gonna back up over here and you can see it. It flows, so it goes from the work area over here, around the conference room, to what will be our kitchen and common area over here. There'll be some walls up over there, but we don't want to break it up. So we've thought about putting in some cabinets, potentially on wheels, or trying to find some other kind of solution. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I don't know if we're going to have one. We may just go without it for the time being. We are definitely going to have a couple desks over here for our support staff. Those will be located right in this area over here. The planter wall, which is this outline right here, we are not going to be doing that. So if you have any great ideas, let me know. All right, so that's where we are for now. Today is June 6th. We're well into construction at this point, obviously. The framing really gives you a sense as to where everything's gonna be. Once the drywall starts going up, it'll get really, really defined. There's a lot of stuff that has to be done in terms of mechanicals, you know? The rooftop units, I believe, are on the HVAC, but I don't believe they're hooked up yet. Those were brought in with a crane along with the roofing materials and put up there. But because of timing with the permit, we didn't have the permit yet, so the roofers weren't gonna do the roof until we had the permit. HVAC, same situation. Now that we have the permit, everything has been given its blessing from Village Hall. Those will be worked on next. And so HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing, obviously, the underground plumbing permit part of the process, I understand they've already put in to have the approval done, which I think is scheduled sometime for this next week. So it's coming together. You know, this COVID has hit everything, but the construction for this building, I haven't seen much of a delay. So it's moving right along, which is terrific because, again, we want to stay on schedule. I did also talk with the folks that are going to be doing the parking lot. If you remember a couple episodes back, I was out patching the parking lot, doing what I could to have a stopgap because of the potholes that were there, and confirmed with them that in about a month, a little less than a month actually now, they will be here. They will cut out the sections of the asphalt that are really terrible. They'll put new asphalt in there, and then after they're done with that, they'll seal everything over and they'll stripe it as well. I'm gonna let our neighbor, the Mexican restaurant next to us, know that that's going on because unfortunately it's gonna impact their business. There's just no other way to do it. The good news is that our contractor understands those kinds of things, so they're gonna start at like 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and hopefully because of the timing of it all, it won't impact our neighbor's business at all. Hopefully they'll be in and out, they'll have all that stuff done so that they can go back to operating in business as usual. So I certainly don't wanna be that neighbor who causes issues, but I wanna give a heads up. So. I think that's all the big news for now. So the project is moving along. We're getting there. No real headaches, no big surprises, not for the most part. So there we are. So thanks for joining us. If you haven't seen the other videos and you're interested, feel free to click on those and join us next time. Thanks.